This is not a book about money. It is an initiation into the unseen frequency that creates it. As you align with the universal laws of vibration, you'll understand. Abundance isn't earned, it's received. Money is a frequency. Tune into it and watch your reality transform. Money is a frequency. Introduction. Hidden in the folds of forgotten scrolls and echoed in the teachings of sages, there exists a sacred truth. Money is not matter. It is energy, a frequency woven into the very soul of the universe. It does not reside in coins or paper, but in the invisible current that flows through all things, waiting for the attuned soul to receive it. Across epochs, from the golden halls of ancient empires to the silent meditations of modern mystics, this wisdom has endured. Those who mastered abundance understood that wealth is not earned, it is summoned. It dances to the rhythm of spiritual law, moving with the same unwavering order as the stars above. You now stand before the gateway of this long-concealed knowledge, ready to awaken to the truth the world has forgotten. Your present financial state is but an echo, a reflection of your vibrational alignment. Like a tuning fork, your being calls forth only what matches its song. Wealth is not something to chase, but something to become. The universe, in its divine intelligence, has embedded prosperity into every ray of light, every breath of air. It is all around you, whispering, waiting, vibrating in perfect harmony. This is not superstition nor illusion. It is the ancient science of resonance, operating in flawless symmetry through the law of vibration. Within these chapters, you are not merely reading, you are remembering. You are being initiated into the forgotten art of harmonizing with financial frequency. As you move through these timeless teachings, you will awaken to your true inheritance, limitless abundance, and in doing so, you shall take your place among those who no longer seek wealth, but embody it. Before we begin, please hit the like button and comment below where in the world you are listening from today. Part 1. Awakening to the Currency of Energy. Chapter 1. The Unseen Currency. On a sun-drenched shore walked Eleanor, her feet leaving gentle impressions in the wet sand as she gathered seashells. Day after day she collected these spiral treasures, dismissing them as mere beach remnants until an ancient mariner approached. His weathered face held wisdom earned through countless seasons at sea. "Those cowrie shells you gather so carelessly," he spoke, his voice carrying the weight of ages, "were once more precious than gold in the great kingdoms of old. Emperors traded in them, merchants built empires upon them, for their value lay not in their substance, but in the sacred agreement of all who used them. The truth about money flows like water through the channels of time. It has never been what it appears to be. The paper bills and metal coins that pass through your hands are merely symbols, physical representations of an energetic agreement that has existed since humans first began to trade. This energy, this frequency of wealth, responds not to the physical world, but to the consciousness that engages it. Those who have amassed great fortunes throughout history understood this hidden principle. They recognized that wealth is not a limited resource to be hoarded, but an unlimited frequency to be tuned into. While the masses clutch at physical currency, believing in its scarcity, the truly prosperous have always known that abundance exists first in the unseen realms, before manifesting in the material world. In the heart of a bustling city, Thomas sat at his piano, his fingers dancing across the keys with technical perfection. Night after night, he performed to half-empty rooms while across town. An untrained musician named Samuel drew crowds that overflowed into the streets. Thomas's frustration grew, until one evening, watching Samuel perform, he witnessed something beyond the notes, a vibration of pure joy that emanated from Samuel's being, touching every soul in the room. In that moment, Thomas understood that his pursuit of technical excellence had blinded him to the true currency of music, the unseen frequency of passion that attracts both audiences and abundance. Like Thomas, you may be focusing on the physical manifestations of wealth while remaining unaware of the vibrational essence that draws it forth. Your relationship with money exists first in the unseen realm of energy before it materializes in your bank account. To begin shifting your relationship with this universal energy, practice this ancient ritual. Each day, find a quiet moment and hold a coin or bill in your palm. Close your eyes and for 5 minutes, sense the energy field that surrounds it. Feel not the metal or paper, but the living frequency it represents. Acknowledge this currency as a physical symbol of the infinite universal energy that surrounds you always. Let your consciousness merge with this frequency until you recognize that the true nature of wealth has never been in the object you hold, but in the unseen essence it channels. Chapter 2. The Alchemy of Financial Consciousness. In a dimly lit chamber filled with ancient manuscripts and bubbling vessels, William labored tirelessly over his alchemical workbench. Day and night, he mixed substances and recited incantations, desperately attempting to transform base lead into precious gold. His hands grew calloused, his eyes weary, yet the metal remained stubbornly unchanged. After witnessing months of his apprentice's fruitless toil, the master alchemist finally spoke. The transformation you seek cannot begin in the crucible before it has occurred in the mind. The outer world merely reflects the inner. Your thoughts about wealth are the primary alchemical force in your financial reality. Like William, you may be exhausting yourself with external actions while overlooking the essential inner transformation that must precede material change. Every coin that passes through your hands, every sum in your accounts, reflects the crystallized form of your predominant thoughts about money. This process of manifestation follows immutable metaphysical laws. Your beliefs about prosperity form the energetic template that the universal forces use to shape your material circumstances. These thought patterns act as invisible molds, casting your financial reality in their exact image. The ancient masters understood this principle. Consciousness precedes manifestation, just as the blueprint precedes the building. In a small village, Martha's modest shop neither grew nor diminished, maintaining the same level of prosperity regardless of economic tides. During festivals, her competitors' profits soared, while hers remained steady. In lean times, while others struggled, her income held constant. This pattern persisted until an elderly customer, watching Martha return excess profits to customers, smiled knowingly and said, "You maintain your wealth exactly where you believe it should be, no more, no less. Your prosperity is obedient to your innermost conviction of what you deserve." Just as Martha unconsciously regulated her prosperity to match her internal beliefs, you too possess a wealth thermostat, a deep-seated conviction about your deserved level of abundance. This invisible setting works tirelessly to maintain your financial status quo, either sabotaging opportunities that would exceed your comfort zone or supporting endeavors that align with your inner expectations. To begin resetting your wealth thermostat, obtain a journal dedicated solely to tracking your relationship with prosperity. For the next 7 days, record every thought about money as it arises in your consciousness. Each evening, review these thoughts by candlelight. On separate pieces of paper, write down any limiting beliefs you've discovered. Burn these papers in a flame-proof vessel, watching your restrictions turn to ash. Then speak these words of abundance 3 times before sleep. I am one with the infinite abundance of the universe. Prosperity flows to me freely and naturally. I expand my consciousness to receive ever-increasing wealth. Chapter 3. Breaking the Chains of Lack. In a remote village among mist-shrouded mountains, Josephine sat motionless in her modest dwelling. Though the door stood open and no physical barriers blocked her path, she remained bound to her chair by chains visible only to her eyes. Day after day, villagers passed by, inviting her to the marketplace, but she could only gesture helplessly at her unseen restraints. One morning, a sage with eyes like ancient coins appeared in her doorway. Without a word, he observed her struggles against the invisible bonds. These chains, he finally spoke, exist solely in the temple of your mind. They are forged from beliefs passed down through generations, each link a story of scarcity, told so often it became truth. Throughout the ages, those who sought to control humanity's resources crafted careful tales of lack. These stories, repeated through centuries, wove themselves into the very fabric of human consciousness. Like Josephine, you too carry these inherited chains of limitation, beliefs so deeply embedded they feel as real as steel. These artificial constraints were never your true inheritance. The universe exists in a state of infinite abundance, continuously expanding, eternally creating. Yet the myths of scarcity became so pervasive, they now form energetic barriers around your prosperity potential. Consider Charles, heir to vast estates and fertile lands, who lived in a single room of his ancestral mansion, subsisting on simple bread and water. As a child, he had witnessed the destructive power of greed tear his family apart. In that moment of pain, he swore a solemn vow to reject all wealth, believing it the source of evil. Years passed until one night, in a luminous dream, his ancestors appeared before him. They showed him how his self-imposed poverty prevented him from maintaining the lands that provided livelihood to hundreds of families. His resistance to abundance wasn't protecting him from greed. It was withholding resources that could nurture his community. Like Charles, you may carry long-forgotten vows or decisions that restrict your prosperity. These limitations may have seemed wise or virtuous when made, but they now serve only to constrain your capacity to create positive change in the world. To break free from these inherited chains, gather 3 sheets of paper and a length of string. In solitude, write your most limiting beliefs about wealth on each sheet. Fashion these into a paper chain, linking them together as they have linked together in your consciousness. Hold this chain before you and speak with authority. These bonds were not forged by my hands, nor do they serve my highest good. Break each link, declaring its opposite truth. Where there was lack, I now claim abundance. Where there was fear, I now claim power. Where there was unworthiness, I now claim divine right. Take these broken links to bare earth and bury them, returning these limitations to the infinite source from which all manifestation springs. Chapter 4. The Wellspring Within. In a distant land, Beatrice embarked on a quest that consumed her youth. Tales of a mystical fountain whispered through ancient scrolls had captured her imagination. This legendary spring, it was said, turned ordinary water to gold, bestowing endless wealth upon those who drank from its sacred waters. For 20 years she wandered, scaling treacherous mountains, crossing vast deserts, and navigating dense jungles in pursuit of this elusive treasure. Weary and weathered, she finally returned to her childhood home, her quest unfulfilled. As she tended to her long-neglected garden, her spade struck something beneath the soil. Water bubbled forth, clear as crystal, with an otherworldly shimmer. Soon, Word spread of the spring's miraculous healing properties. People traveled from distant lands, offering fortunes for but a single vial of this precious water that flowed freely beneath her own feet. The truth you seek has always resided within. Like Beatrice, many spend years searching distant horizons for prosperity's source, while abundance bubbles silently beneath their feet. The universe's infinite wealth flows not from external fountains, but from the wellspring of divine consciousness within you. This inner source knows no limitation. It cannot be depleted or diminished. When you align with this internal fountain, external abundance naturally follows, for it is merely the physical reflection of your spiritual connection to universal supply. Consider Samuel, whose merchant fleet represented his entire fortune. When a violent storm claimed his ships, leaving him stranded on an uninhabited isle, he believed all was lost. Yet in solitude, he discovered his hands could weave intricate baskets from island reeds. He learned to create healing balms from native plants. As months passed, his inner gifts blossomed. When finally rescued, Samuel carried with him knowledge worth far more than his lost cargo. His unique creations sparked such demand that his new venture exceeded his former wealth tenfold. His apparent misfortune had forced him to tap the true source of abundance, his own divine nature. The ancients understood this profound truth. External circumstances may shift like sand, but your inner resources remain eternally abundant. The talents, insights, and creative capacities flowing from your divine essence represent the true fountain of wealth. This source can never be shipwrecked, stolen, or depleted. For today's practice, find a quiet space and close your eyes. Visualize yourself descending a spiral staircase deep within your being. At the bottom, discover a radiant pool of golden light, your inner wellspring of abundance. Cup your hands and drink deeply from these waters, affirming, "All prosperity flows from my divine connection." Complete this meditation by acknowledging 3 inner gifts you possess that can generate lasting abundance. Chapter 5, The Language of Abundance. In a distant realm where gold held no worth, Frederick found himself wandering hungry through streets lined with abundant food stalls. His heavy purse of coins meant nothing here, and merchants turned away from his desperate gestures. Night after night he slept in doorways despite the weight of wealth at his waist. Then Agnes appeared, an elderly woman who recognized the confusion in his eyes. Through patient instruction, she taught him the sacred words of gratitude that served as currency in this mysterious land. Speak your appreciation with pure heart, she guided, and watch as the universe responds. Your words shape the very fabric of your reality. Each syllable you utter carries a vibrational frequency that ripples through the cosmic web, either attracting or repelling abundance. The universe responds not to the logical meaning of your speech, but to its energetic signature. Those who have mastered material abundance understand this subtle truth. Prosperity flows most freely to those who speak its native tongue. When you declare, "I can't afford it," the universe aligns with that limitation. When you proclaim, "Money slips through my fingers," reality arranges itself to fulfill that prophecy. Victoria and her sister Claire inherited identical shops on the same street, selling the same wares to the same customers. Victoria greeted each morning declaring, "Abundance flows to me naturally." She spoke of her business as thriving and expanding. Claire, however, constantly worried aloud about making ends meet and staying afloat. Within a year, Victoria's shop had doubled its inventory and clientele, while Claire's struggled and eventually closed. The only difference lay in the invisible yet potent force of their words. To transform your financial reality, you must first transform your prosperity vocabulary. The ancient practice of conscious speech holds the key to unlocking abundance. Take a simple cord or band and place it on your right wrist. For 7 days, become acutely aware of every word you speak about money, wealth, and abundance. When you catch yourself using language of lack, immediately move the band to your left wrist and speak aloud the prosperity alternative you've prepared in your abundance lexicon. Through this practice, you will gradually attune your verbal frequency to the natural language of abundance, allowing universal prosperity to flow unimpeded into your life. Chapter 6. The Sacred Exchange. In a small village among rolling hills lived George, a baker whose aromatic breads drew people from miles around. Each morning he placed fresh loaves in his window, giving them freely to all who passed. True spirituality means giving without expectation, he would say, his eyes bright with conviction despite his increasingly gaunt frame. As months passed, George's once robust body grew thin, his renowned breads losing their distinctive flavor. His shelves grew bare as he could no longer afford quality ingredients. Still, he persisted in his giving, even as his own health faltered. One morning, a small child appeared at his counter, barely tall enough to peer over it. "Why do you refuse the natural flow?" the child asked, wisdom ancient as the stars shining in her eyes. "Look at how the sun gives its light, yet receives energy from the core of its being. Observe how the earth offers its fruits, yet accepts the rain and minerals it needs. Even the flowers exchange nectar for pollination. Your relationship with giving and receiving mirrors the cosmic dance of energy that sustains all life. Every aspect of existence participates in sacred exchange. This is the hidden truth that governs prosperity. Money serves as a symbol of this eternal flow, a tangible representation of the energy exchange that moves through all things. When you block either aspect of this flow, whether giving or receiving, you create resistance in the natural circulation of abundance. Those who only give deplete themselves, while those who only receive become stagnant. True spiritual abundance emerges from maintaining harmonious balance in this eternal dance. In a distant city lived Harriet, a gifted healer whose touch could ease the deepest pains. She refused payment for her services, believing this made her more spiritually pure. Yet as years passed, her healing powers diminished. Her once vibrant energy became dull, her treatments less effective. One night in meditation, she received a vision of the universal energy grid, countless golden threads connecting all beings in an intricate web of give and take. She saw how her refusal to receive had created knots in this network, blocking the very life force she sought to channel. This resistance to receiving, whether born of pride, fear, or misunderstood spirituality, disrupts the sacred cycle of exchange. Just as a river must both flow and be replenished, your prosperity requires balanced participation in life's natural rhythms of giving and receiving. For your energy exchange balancing ritual, find a quiet space and light a single white candle. Take 2 sheets of paper. On one, list everything you give to the world. On the other, what you receive. Review each exchange mindfully, noting where imbalances exist. Identify areas where you overextend or resist receiving. Conclude by writing one specific action you will take to restore balance in your energy exchanges. Perform this ritual under the waxing moon for greatest potency. Chapter 7. The Inheritance of Belief. Margaret stood before the golden gates of the Garden of Prosperity, watching as others walked through with ease while an invisible force held her back. Day after day she returned, pressing against unseen barriers that denied her entry, though the fragrant blooms and abundant fruits beckoned just beyond her reach. On the 7th day, an ancient sage appeared beside her. "Your struggle is not yours alone," he said softly. "Look closely at the air around you." As Margaret focused, gossamer threads became visible, extending from her body back through time and space. These are the bonds of those who came before. Your grandmother, who believed gardens were only for the wealthy. Your great-grandfather, who was barred from owning land. Generations who learned to stay in their assigned place. And you too carry such invisible threads, beliefs about wealth and worthiness, woven into your being before your first breath. These ancestral patterns shape your financial reality more deeply than you realize, creating boundaries in your energy field that seem as solid as stone walls. These inherited limitations lodge themselves in your spiritual DNA, establishing invisible thresholds you cannot seem to cross. Yet understanding their origin holds the key to their dissolution. Each belief that restricts your prosperity was once created as protection, passed down through generations with love, even as it limited their potential. And now yours. Henry's story mirrors this truth. A brilliant investor, he repeatedly built flourishing ventures only to unconsciously dismantle them as they approached $500,000 in annual revenue, the exact level at which his father's business had collapsed decades before. Despite his skill and dedication, this invisible ceiling controlled his success like a puppet master he could not see. One night his grandfather appeared in a dream, showing Henry a scene from 1929. The family gathered around a table, making a solemn vow never to risk rising too high again after losing everything. This pledge, born of fear and survival, had passed silently through the generations, governing their financial destiny without their awareness. Just as Henry's revelation freed him to transcend his family's unconscious limitations, you have the power to release inherited patterns that no longer serve your highest good. Through conscious awareness and sacred ritual, even the deepest ancestral bonds can be lovingly dissolved. For your lineage liberation ceremony, create a simple family tree spanning 3 generations. In sacred space, connect with each ancestor through meditation, asking what money beliefs they carried. Write each belief on a leaf, acknowledging its protective intent while declaring your freedom from its constraints. Finally, transmute these limitations through fire or earth, releasing their energy back to the universe with gratitude and love. Chapter 8: The Guardians of Prosperity. In the ancient halls of a forgotten monastery, a young scholar named Arthur spent countless nights searching for a mysterious manuscript said to contain the eternal principles of wealth creation. Though the text was rumored to rest within those very walls, invisible guardians protected it from those whose hearts sought only material gain. Night after night, Arthur pored over dusty volumes, believing his relentless study would reveal the manuscript's location. Yet each morning brought only frustration. As his desperation grew, so did his certainty that finding this text would solve all his financial struggles. One evening, while organizing ancient scrolls, Arthur discovered a child's drawing fallen behind a shelf. The simple illustration showed a tree bearing both fruits and books. Moved by its innocence, he paused his frantic search to help a young novice who was struggling to understand a basic text nearby. As Arthur shared his knowledge with genuine joy, the air in the library shifted. The invisible guardians, watching through the ages, recognized in this moment what they had awaited. A heart that valued wisdom above wealth, understanding above mere accumulation. The manuscript revealed itself not as a hidden book, but as living wisdom that had been present all along, waiting for eyes worthy of perceiving it. Through the ages, certain enlightened beings have safeguarded the deeper truths of prosperity. This knowledge was never truly hidden, but protected, not by locks and walls, but by the requirement of spiritual readiness in those who sought it. The guardians of this wisdom recognize that financial power without spiritual maturity could bring destruction rather than liberation. Elizabeth's journey mirrors this eternal truth. At pivotal moments in her financial life, when starting her business, facing bankruptcy, and receiving an unexpected inheritance, she encountered the same elderly mentor. This mysterious figure appeared not by chance, but when Elizabeth's consciousness aligned with her higher purpose. Initially focused solely on survival, Elizabeth barely noticed this guardian's presence. Yet as her awareness expanded, she recognized that each appearance coincided with her deepest moments of spiritual growth. The mentor's guidance grew more direct as Elizabeth demonstrated her commitment to using prosperity as a force for good. Similar guardians walk among you now, their wisdom available when you demonstrate readiness to receive it. They appear not in response to need or ambition, but to the awakening of higher consciousness within you. To invoke their guidance, create a sacred space at dawn using 4 candles. Let each flame represent the qualities the guardians seek: wisdom, integrity, purpose, and service. In meditation, demonstrate your commitment to embodying these attributes. Maintain receptive silence over the following 3 days, recording in your journal any insights that emerge. The guardian's wisdom flows not through desperate seeking, but through prepared vessels. Chapter 9: The Rhythm of Receiving. In the heart of a fertile valley, Robert tended his fields with unwavering dedication. Each morning before dawn, he would rise to plow, plant, and nurture his crops, yet season after season, his harvests remained meager despite his ceaseless toil. His neighboring farms flourished while his own seemed resistant to his most determined efforts. One evening, as Robert sat exhausted on his porch, his elderly neighbor approached. The old man had watched Robert's struggles silently for years, but now spoke. "You work harder than any farmer I've known, yet you fight against the very rhythms meant to support you. Look up at the moon. It guides more than just the tides." The old man shared ancient farming wisdom, showing Robert how each phase of the moon carried specific energies that either supported or hindered growth. Seeds planted during the waxing moon flourished, while those planted during the waning moon struggled to take root. By simply aligning his efforts with these natural cycles, Robert's farm transformed within a single season. The universe operates through precise rhythms of expansion and contraction. Just as the moon influences the tides and growth cycles, these same cosmic forces govern the flow of abundance in your life. When you resist these natural cycles, struggling against the universe's established rhythms, you exhaust yourself while achieving minimal results. Each phase of abundance carries its own wisdom and purpose. Periods of apparent scarcity are not punishment, but natural times for planning and preparation, just as winter allows the soil to regenerate. Times of plenty are not merely for consumption, but for conscious cultivation of future abundance. In a distant port city, a merchant named Sophia experienced this truth through 7 years of extraordinary prosperity, followed by 7 years of decline. Initially, the downturn filled her with dread, until a dream vision revealed the natural order of these cycles. Like the seasons themselves, financial energy follows patterns of ebb and flow. During her prosperous years, she learned to store resources, and during leaner times, she planted seeds for future growth. Your resistance to these cycles stems from a misunderstanding of their purpose. Each phase serves your highest good when you align with its unique energy, rather than fighting against it. The contractive phases are not failures, but necessary periods of preparation for the next expansion. To align with these cycles of expansion and contraction, begin a daily practice of mindful observation. Each morning, take a few moments to notice where you are in your own cycles of growth and rest. Are you in a period of outward achievement, or has life called you inward for reflection and renewal? Record these observations in a journal, noting the subtle shifts in energy and opportunity that each day brings. When you find yourself in an expansive phase, document the doors that open before you. During quieter times, write about the insights and preparations taking shape beneath the surface. This practice will attune you to the natural rhythm of your life's journey. Over time, you'll develop an innate understanding of when to push forward and when to pull back, moving in harmony with the universal flow rather than against it. Remember that each phase, whether marked by visible progress or invisible germination, serves an essential purpose in your path of growth. Trust in this eternal dance of expansion and contraction. When you embrace these cycles as sacred teachers rather than obstacles, you'll discover that even the most challenging periods contain hidden gifts of wisdom and transformation. Chapter 10: The First Attunement. In a village known for its mysterious melodies, Daniel wandered through crowds of people swaying and dancing to music he could not hear. Their faces shone with joy as they moved to an invisible rhythm, while he stood still and confused, straining his ears yet catching no sound. Night after night he returned, watching others lose themselves in this enchanting symphony that remained silent to him alone. One evening, a small child tugged at his sleeve. Without speaking, she placed her tiny hand over his heart, then gestured for him to relax his shoulders, which had grown tense from his desperate attempts to hear. She guided him through gentle movements, showing him how to soften his rigid posture and release the tightness in his jaw. As his body gradually unwound, something extraordinary happened. First a faint humming, then a clear, beautiful melody emerged as though it had been playing all along, waiting for him to match its vibration. The frequency of wealth operates in much the same way. It perpetually broadcasts its signal across the universe, yet remains inaudible to those whose inner state creates static interference. Your occasional brushes with prosperity, those moments when abundance suddenly flows into your life, occur when you accidentally align with this frequency. But like a radio dial that drifts from its station, you lose the signal when your vibrational state shifts out of alignment. The metaphysical mechanics of sustained abundance require conscious attunement. Just as Daniel needed to adjust his physical tension to hear the music, you must calibrate your energetic field to maintain consistent resonance with the prosperity frequency. This alignment occurs not through external seeking, but through inner harmonization.
Grace discovered this truth during her persistent attempts to join the Fortunate Society, whose members seemed blessed with natural abundance. Despite learning their customs and copying their actions, she remained unable to gain entry. Only when she ceased her outer efforts and focused on cultivating inner radiance did the doors finally open, revealing that the society had no secrets to teach, but simply recognized those who had achieved the necessary state of being.
You stand now at this same threshold. The transition from seeking prosperity to embodying its frequency marks the crucial shift that all masters of abundance have navigated. This attunement, while initially requiring conscious effort, becomes your natural state through dedicated practice. The practice of aligning with abundance requires consistent attention and devotion. Begin each morning by sitting quietly for several minutes, breathing deeply, and allowing yourself to settle into a state of peaceful receptivity. As you breathe, imagine golden light filling your being, activating the frequency of prosperity within. This is not mere visualization. You are attuning your consciousness to the natural state of abundance that surrounds you. Throughout your day, notice moments when scarcity thinking attempts to pull you from this frequency. When such thoughts arise, Gently return to your morning practice. Remember that abundance is not something to chase or acquire, but a state of being to embody. Let each breath remind you of the infinite supply that flows through all of creation. In the evening, reflect on the ways abundance has manifested in your life, both large and small. Express gratitude for these blessings, knowing that your recognition of them strengthens your connection to the prosperous current of the universe. Through dedicated practice, you will find yourself naturally resonating with abundance, drawing to you all that aligns with your highest good. Part 2. Embodying the Prosperity Consciousness. Chapter 11. The Vibrational Signature of Wealth. In a bustling marketplace where merchants haggled and coins clinked, Walter moved with quiet confidence between the stalls. Though blind since birth, his exceptional sense of smell had made him the city's most renowned perfumer. His fingers danced across delicate glass vials as he detected subtle variations others could never perceive, the faintest hint of jasmine in an otherwise ordinary rosewater, the specific region where each spice originated, the precise moment a fragrance would reach its peak potency. His gift transformed into prosperity as nobles and merchants sought his unique ability to create perfect scent combinations. Yet one day, while delivering fragrances to the palace, an extraordinary aroma stopped him in his tracks. The scent was unlike anything he had encountered, not floral, spice, or earthen, but something that brought involuntary tears to his eyes. When he inquired about its source, a guard revealed he was standing near the entrance to the royal treasury. The universe speaks in many frequencies, and abundance manifests through countless energetic signatures. Just as Walter's refined senses detected what others missed, you too can develop the ability to discern the subtle vibrations of true prosperity. The masters of old understood that wealth carries specific energetic patterns, some that nurture and expand, others that deplete and contract. Clara discovered this truth through an unexpected inheritance. Two beloved aunts left her identical pearl necklaces, crafted by the same artisan with seemingly identical materials. Yet wearing one brought a string of fortunate encounters and opportunities, while the other coincided with persistent misfortune. Puzzled, she sought the counsel of an elderly jeweler, who examined both pieces with special instruments. Though appearing identical, one contained pure silver with traces of rare earth elements, while the other was crafted from base metals with a silver coating. Their energetic properties, he explained, were as different as sunlight and shadow. You encounter similar choices daily, opportunities, investments, and paths that may appear equally promising on the surface. Yet beneath the visible lies an energetic signature that either aligns with your highest good or subtly drains your life force. By developing your spiritual sensitivity, you can learn to detect these subtle differences before committing your energy and resources. To begin cultivating this discernment, gather several forms of currency and items of value. Create a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Hold each object with closed eyes, breathing deeply as you notice the sensations that arise in your body. Some may evoke warmth, others coolness. Some may create expansion in your chest, others contraction. Record these subtle impressions in a dedicated journal, building a personal reference for the frequency of true abundance. Chapter 12. The Mystic's Approach to Money. In a remote mountain sanctuary, Judith sat cross-legged on her worn meditation cushion, seeking enlightenment through detachment from worldly concerns. She had abandoned her comfortable life, believing material pursuits stood between her and spiritual awakening. Yet each attempt to reach higher consciousness was interrupted by gnawing thoughts of her dwindling supplies and uncertain future. After months of struggling, she sought guidance from Master Chen, whose reputation for wisdom drew seekers from distant lands. To her surprise, she found him tending a magnificent garden filled with fruits and flowers, his simple but beautiful dwelling adorned with art that reflected divine harmony. "You seek to cut yourself in half," he observed, offering her a ripe peach from his garden. "But can you separate the sweetness from the fruit?" The core truth that has been hidden from spiritual seekers for centuries is this: prosperity and enlightenment are not opposing forces, but different expressions of the same divine energy. Throughout history, those who achieved true spiritual mastery understood that the material world exists as a manifestation of spiritual law. The ancient temples were not built in poverty, but stood as testaments to the harmonious flow of both spiritual and material abundance. In the marketplace of a prosperous coastal city, Harold's warehouses overflowed with fine silks and precious spices. His business acumen had created wealth that supported hundreds of families, yet each night he was haunted by the belief that his material success somehow diminished his spiritual worth. One evening, a renowned mystic visited his city. Harold was stunned to find him residing in an exquisite villa overlooking the sea. "These surroundings," the mystic explained, "are not my possessions but divine energy taking form. Through them I can offer shelter to travelers, feed the hungry, and create beauty that elevates all who enter. When we recognize wealth as sacred energy rather than personal property, it becomes a vessel for greater service. Just as drops of water are not separate from the ocean, your material existence is not separate from your spiritual essence." The belief that you must choose between prosperity and spiritual growth has created an artificial divide in your consciousness. Sacred money integration practice. Close your eyes and envision yourself as a vessel through which divine abundance flows. Like a crystal-clear stream, see wealth moving through you, not to be hoarded, but to be channeled toward greater purpose. Feel yourself becoming transparent to this sacred energy, allowing it to manifest in perfect ways that serve both your highest good and the good of all. Take 3 deep breaths, and with each exhale, release any beliefs that wealth and spirituality must remain separate. Let go of the notion that money is impure or that prosperity diminishes your divine connection. Instead, embrace the truth that your material abundance is simply another expression of universal energy, no different from the air you breathe or the sunlight that warms your skin. Now, speak these words with conviction. "I am a pure channel for divine prosperity. Through me, sacred wealth flows to bless all of creation. I accept abundance as a holy gift, knowing it empowers my service to the world." Carry this integration practice with you throughout your day. When you engage with money, earning, spending, saving, or giving, pause to remember its sacred nature. Let each financial transaction become a prayer, a meditation on the infinite flow of divine energy expressing itself through the material realm. Chapter 13. Visualizing the Golden Stream. In a land where the earth had cracked from years without rain, Rebecca knelt each morning before sunrise, pressing her palms against the parched soil. While others saw only desolation, she began experiencing visions of crystalline waters flowing deep beneath the surface, ancient rivers that had never ceased their motion despite the barren landscape above. Day after day, she held this image in her mind, feeling the cool rush of hidden streams as clearly as if they flowed through her very veins. After months of this practice, she felt an inexplicable urge drawing her to a specific location in the valley. Following this inner guidance, she began to dig. Her neighbors thought her mad until their shovels struck moisture, then struck flowing water, a well so abundant it transformed the entire region into fertile land. The ancients understood a truth that modern minds have forgotten. Visualization is not mere imagination, but a spiritual technology for attuning your consciousness to existing frequencies within the universal field. Just as a radio must be precisely tuned to receive a broadcast that already fills the air, your mind must be consistently aligned with the frequency of abundance that perpetually flows through all creation. In the heart of a bustling market town, Edward kept his small shop with meticulous care. Each morning before opening, he would sit in silence, holding in his mind a crystal-clear image of prosperity, not just of material wealth, but of the energy of abundance flowing through his life and business. Though months passed with no apparent change, he maintained this practice with unwavering devotion. For a full year, he sustained this visualization through declining sales and his competitors' successes. Then one morning, he woke to discover that an overseas merchant had inherited his grandfather's debt to Edward's long-deceased father, a debt now worth many times his shop's value. Within weeks, his vision manifested exactly as he had held it in his mind, though through channels he could never have consciously orchestrated. Just as underground streams flow unseen before breaking the surface, your visualization practice operates on subtle planes of reality before manifesting in physical form. The consistency of your mental imagery aligns your energy field with the frequency of abundance, creating a channel through which universal prosperity can flow into your experience. Like water carving pathways through stone, your sustained focus shapes invisible channels in the etheric realm. Each time you hold that image of prosperity in your mind, you deepen these grooves, strengthening the connection between your consciousness and the infinite reservoir of abundance that awaits expression in your physical reality. This is why patience and unwavering faith are essential. For though you cannot yet see the stream, your persistent practice ensures its eventual emergence into the visible world. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14: The Breath of Prosperity. On the windswept shores of an ancient port, Benjamin stood watching the horizon where dark clouds gathered like harbingers of doom. His entire fortune sailed upon 3 merchant vessels now caught in the tempest's fury. As he paced the beach, his breath coming in ragged gasps, an old sailor approached, his weathered face bearing the calm of one who had witnessed countless storms. "Your breath mirrors the chaos of the sea," the sailor observed, his voice carrying an ancient wisdom. "Let me share with you a secret passed down through generations of seafarers." He guided Benjamin to sit upon the sand and demonstrated a rhythmic breathing pattern that seemed to echo the ocean's natural pulse. As Benjamin matched this ancient rhythm, something extraordinary occurred. Not only did peace settle over his troubled mind, but the distant waters began to calm, as if responding to his newfound tranquility. When dawn broke, his ships sailed safely into harbor, their precious cargo intact. Through the ages, masters of abundance have understood a truth that modern society has forgotten. Your breath holds the key to your financial frequency. Each inhalation and exhalation creates a subtle vibration that either aligns with or repels prosperity. Your unconscious breathing patterns during financial transactions, decisions, and even simple thoughts about money generate an energetic field that directly influences your material reality. In a distant city, Catherine and her brother received identical investment opportunities. Despite following the same strategy, her brother's ventures flourished while hers faltered. Seeking understanding, she observed him during business meetings and made a remarkable discovery. While discussing money matters, he naturally maintained a steady, expansive breathing pattern. In contrast, she noticed her own breath becoming shallow and constricted whenever finances were discussed. This awareness became her turning point. By consciously transforming her breathing pattern when engaging with money matters, Catherine's financial reality began to shift, eventually matching her brother's success. Your breath serves as the bridge between intention and manifestation, between thought and form. This sacred tool, known to the wealthy sages of antiquity, remains available to you in every moment. To harness this ancient wisdom, practice the prosperity breath sequence. Sit with your spine straight and first observe your natural breathing pattern while contemplating money. Then, initiate the sacred rhythm. Inhale for 8 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 8, hold for 4. As you breathe, visualize golden light entering your body with each inhalation, circulating through your entire being with each exhalation. Maintain this practice for 7 minutes before engaging in any financial activities. Chapter 15. The Sacred Geometry of Wealth. In the heart of an ancient city, Nathaniel stood perplexed before 2 temples. The older structure, though simple in its design, overflowed with offerings of gold and precious gems, while the grand new temple he had helped construct remained eerily empty. Night after night he measured and studied both buildings, searching for the secret that eluded him. His master, watching silently for many days, finally approached. "What you seek cannot be measured with ordinary tools," he said, retrieving a golden cord knotted at precise intervals. These sacred proportions were known to the ancients, who understood that certain mathematical relationships naturally attract the energy of abundance. As your journey into the mystical science of prosperity deepens, you now encounter one of its most powerful secrets: the sacred patterns and numerical sequences that govern the flow of abundance in the universe. Just as music creates harmony through specific mathematical relationships between notes, wealth energy responds to precise geometric arrangements and numerical frequencies. Throughout the ages, those who mastered material abundance understood that certain numbers and shapes naturally align with prosperity, while others subtly repel it. These patterns appear throughout nature, in the spiral of a seashell, the arrangement of flower petals, and the orbits of celestial bodies. By incorporating these sacred proportions into your environment and activities, you activate powerful frequencies that attract wealth energy. In a bustling market town, Amelia struggled to keep her small shop afloat, despite offering the finest wares. One evening, a mysterious traveler entered, studying the shop's layout with knowing eyes. He showed her how to rearrange her displays according to an ancient pattern, explaining that prosperity flows along specific geometric lines. Skeptical but desperate, Amelia followed his instructions precisely. The next morning, customers began streaming in as if drawn by an invisible force. Her sales doubled, then tripled, maintaining this remarkable increase as long as she preserved the sacred arrangement. This wisdom extends beyond physical spaces. The universe operates according to precise numerical cycles that influence the flow of abundance. By understanding and aligning with these cycles, you open yourself to the natural rhythms of prosperity that have always existed around you. The practice guides you to create a prosperity grid. By drawing a sacred geometry pattern, detailed instructions provided, on parchment using gold ink during the waxing moon phase, then placing symbols of your financial goals at specific power points on the grid, activating the completed grid by placing it where morning sunlight touches it, while reciting a provided abundance invocation for 8 consecutive days, the number of infinite prosperity. Chapter 16. The Prosperity Portals. In a distant time, Lawrence journeyed through harsh lands seeking the fabled city of gold. tales spoke of its magnificent towers and streets paved with precious metals, yet each time he followed the directions given by fellow travelers, he found only empty desert. For 7 years he searched, growing weary and discouraged, until one evening he encountered a young child drawing patterns in the sand. "The city appears only when sun and moon align in perfect harmony," the child said, sketching celestial symbols. "And even then, its gateway opens solely for those who know where to look during these precious moments. You now approach one of the most closely guarded secrets of abundance manifestation, the sacred understanding of timing, location, and action. Throughout the ages, masters of prosperity recognize that wealth energy flows more freely during specific windows of opportunity through particular places that serve as natural amplifiers and in response to precisely aligned actions. Imagine time, space, and action as 3 keys that must turn together to unlock the portal of prosperity. When these elements align perfectly, manifestation occurs with an ease and grace that seems magical to those unaware of these principles. Yet this knowledge has been preserved and passed down through generations of those who understood the deeper mechanics of abundance. Consider the tale of Isabel, who faithfully performed her prosperity ritual each day for 3 years, burning special incense and reciting ancient invocations. Though she maintained unwavering dedication, her results remained minimal. One night, in a vivid dream, a wise woman appeared and spoke. "Your words are correct, but your timing and direction are misaligned. When next the moon is new, face the rising sun in the east and speak your truth." Though skeptical, Isabel followed these instructions precisely. Within days, opportunities she had long sought suddenly manifested, as if a hidden door had finally swung open in response to the perfect alignment of elements. Just as certain times of day hold different energetic qualities and specific locations resonate with particular frequencies, your prosperity practices can be amplified or diminished by these subtle yet crucial factors. The ancient temples were not built in random locations or oriented without purpose. Their positioning and timing of ceremonies worked in harmony with universal forces to enhance manifestation. Throughout history, the wisest among humanity understood these hidden alignments, carefully selecting precise moments and sacred spaces to conduct their rituals. Even now, these same eternal principles remain active, waiting to be recognized and harnessed by those who seek to work in concert with the universe's natural rhythms. When you align your practices with these cosmic forces, the rising sun, the phases of the moon, the cardinal directions, you tap into currents of energy that have flowed since time immemorial. Chapter 17. Rituals of the Affluent Soul. In a time beyond memory, Marianne discovered an ancient manuscript hidden within the walls of her grandmother's house. Its weathered chapters contained detailed prosperity rituals passed down through countless generations. With excitement, she followed each instruction precisely, burning the specified incense, arranging crystals in perfect geometric patterns, and reciting the sacred words at the prescribed hours. Yet after months of dedicated practice, her circumstances remained unchanged. One evening, as she performed her usual ritual, a silver-haired woman appeared at her door. Without introduction, the stranger observed Marianne's movements and spoke. "You dance the steps perfectly, but where is the music in your soul?" Through this simple observation, you now approach a profound truth about prosperity consciousness. The external forms of ritual serve as vessels, but it is your internal state of sacred presence that fills them with power. Throughout the ages, those who mastered abundance understood that ceremony, creates a bridge between the seen and unseen worlds, allowing transformation to occur at the deepest levels of consciousness. Consider how your logical mind often resists new patterns of prosperity, clinging to familiar limitations even as you strive for change. Sacred ritual bypasses this resistance, speaking directly to your soul in the language of symbol and ceremony that it naturally understands. When performed with true presence and clear intention, these practices align your entire being with the frequency of wealth. This truth reveals itself in the tale of Theodore, a merchant whose trading empire stretched across 3 kingdoms. When fire destroyed his warehouses and ships in a single night, he frantically worked to rebuild through sheer force of will. Yet his desperate efforts yielded nothing but exhaustion and further setbacks. In his darkest hour, Theodore recalled a simple prosperity ritual taught by his grandfather. Though it seemed insignificant compared to his previous wealth-building activities, he committed to performing it daily. As he lit the morning candle and spoke the ancient words of abundance, something shifted within him. His inner harmony restored, opportunities naturally flowed toward him, bringing even greater success than before, not through anxious striving, but through renewed energetic alignment. This wisdom awaits your discovery through the Alchemist Prosperity Ritual. Each Thursday, create a sacred altar incorporating earth, crystals or soil, water in a silver bowl, fire, green or gold candle, and air, incense. Add symbols representing your desired manifestations. Light your candle while speaking this invocation. By the ancient laws of prosperity, I align my being with the eternal flow of abundance. As these elements combine, so too does my consciousness merge with the frequency of wealth. Perform the visualization sequence. See golden light filling your body, extending outward to touch everything you wish to manifest. Complete your ceremony by recording your experience and intentions in a dedicated journal, creating a living record of your transformation. Chapter 18. The Emotional Alchemy of Wealth. In a time beyond memory, there lived an alchemist named Josephine who devoted her life to mastering the sacred art of transformation. Night after night, she toiled in her laboratory, meticulously following ancient formulas to transmute lead into gold. Despite her precise measurements and flawless technique, the metal remained stubbornly unchanged. One evening, as frustration threatened to overwhelm her, her master appeared silently in the doorway. "You have mastered the external elements," he observed, "but neglected the most essential ingredient, the alchemy of your own heart." Through this timeless tale, you approach a fundamental truth about the science of prosperity. Your emotional state serves as the catalyst that transforms mere intention into manifest reality. Just as the ancient alchemists discovered that their own consciousness affected their experiments, you too must understand that your feelings create the energetic foundation for all material transformation. Consider how a skilled craftsman named Albert created pieces of extraordinary technical perfection, yet found no buyers for his work. His artistry was beyond reproach, but something essential was missing. An elder in his village, watching him work one day, shared a forgotten wisdom. Infuse each creation with the feeling of gratitude, as though the material itself is a gift from the divine. At first skeptical, Albert began practicing this emotional alchemy. As he worked, he cultivated a deep sense of appreciation for his materials, his skills, and the opportunity to create. Almost immediately, his finished pieces took on a different quality, one that buyers could sense even without understanding why. What had been merely well-crafted objects became treasured works that people eagerly sought out. This ancient wisdom reveals that your emotions act as the bridge between thought and manifestation. Certain emotional frequencies naturally align with prosperity: gratitude, worthiness, generosity, joy, abundance, and trust. Others, fear, scarcity, unworthiness, resentment, create resistance that blocks the natural flow of wealth. To apply this wisdom in your own life, practice the emotional prosperity transmutation daily. Find a quiet moment and identify the primary emotion you carry about money. If it's a limiting emotion, express it fully in private. Move your body, make sound, release its energy completely. Then, place your hand upon your heart and begin the prosperity breath pattern. Inhale for 4 counts, imagining golden light filling your heart center. Hold for 4 counts, allowing this light to intensify. Exhale for 4 counts, feeling it expand throughout your body. Hold empty for 4 counts, creating space for a new emotional signature. Choose one of the prosperity emotions: gratitude, worthiness, generosity, joy, abundance, or trust. As you continue the breathing pattern, cultivate this new feeling state, sustaining it for 3 full minutes while visualizing it infusing your entire financial energy field. Feel this elevated emotion becoming your new normal state when engaging with money and material resources. Chapter 19, The Dreaming Gates of Prosperity. In an ancient village, there lived a woman named Charlotte whose financial struggles consumed her days and haunted her nights. Despite consulting every expert, reading countless scrolls of wisdom, and implementing numerous strategies, abundance remained elusive. Her logical mind had exhausted every possibility, yet the solution she sought remained hidden behind a veil of uncertainty. One night, as she finally surrendered to exhaustion, the wisdom of the universe reached through her dreams. In this ethereal state where the conscious mind's barriers dissolve, she received crystal-clear guidance. A voice as ancient as time itself revealed a path she had never considered, one that defied conventional reasoning but resonated with a truth her soul recognized instantly. Through this timeless tale, you approach a profound understanding of the dream realm's role in manifesting abundance. When your analytical mind rests, you enter a sacred space where the universal field of prosperity can communicate directly with your soul. The wealth masters of antiquity understood this truth, recognizing that dreams serve as portals through which divine financial wisdom flows unimpeded. Consider how Howard repeatedly dreamed of a specific location, dismissing these nighttime visions as mere fantasy. Yet the universe persisted, showing him this place again and again until circumstances aligned to bring him there physically. In that precise location, he discovered an opportunity for prosperity that his logical mind could never have conceived, one that provided lasting abundance and security. These stories illuminate the sophisticated guidance system operating through your dream consciousness. While you sleep, the barriers of doubt and limitation dissolve, allowing direct communion with the infinite intelligence that governs all prosperity. Throughout history, those who mastered material abundance understood that dreams offer a direct line to financial wisdom that transcends ordinary understanding. The ancient practice of dream incubation, intentionally seeking prosperity guidance through sleep, remains one of the most powerful tools for manifesting abundance. Your dreams may already hold the solutions you seek, offering guidance that bypasses the limitations of logical thought to reveal unexpected pathways to wealth. When you learn to harness this sacred wisdom of the night, you tap into a wellspring of infinite potential that has guided seekers throughout the ages. The answers you desire often appear not as direct instructions, but as symbols and metaphors that speak to your deeper consciousness. By setting a clear intention before sleep and remaining receptive to the messages that come, you open yourself to revelations that can transform your material circumstances in ways your waking mind could never imagine. Chapter 20. The Divine Right to Abundance. In a land where time held no meaning, there lived a man named Michael who discovered a magnificent castle unlike any he had seen before. Its golden gate stood wide open, inviting all who passed by to enter. Yet Michael remained outside, pacing anxiously in the castle's shadow day after day. Though no guards blocked his path and no barriers impeded his entry, he convinced himself that special permission must surely be required to cross such a grand threshold. Other travelers passed him by, walking confidently through the gates to receive the abundance that awaited within. Still, Michael stayed rooted in place, bound by invisible chains of his own making, until one morning a royal messenger approached him with an expression of gentle amusement. "The king has been watching you," the messenger said, "wondering why you have not claimed what is rightfully yours. He sent me to tell you that not only are you permitted to enter, you were specifically invited. He has been waiting to bestow gifts that belong to you by divine birthright. You too may find yourself standing outside the gates of prosperity, believing you need special permission to receive abundance. Yet the truth whispers to your soul, the gates have always been open, waiting for you to recognize your divine inheritance. The universal laws that govern abundance operate with perfect equality, playing no favorites and requiring no special status. Just as the sun shines on all beings without discrimination, prosperity flows naturally to those who align with its frequency. Your birthright as a divine being having a human experience includes unlimited access to the universe's abundance. For centuries, certain beliefs have been carefully cultivated in human consciousness. Beliefs suggesting that prosperity belongs only to a select few, that limitation is natural, while abundance is rare. Yet these are merely illusions, like shadows cast on a wall. The deeper truth reveals that abundance is the natural state of an unlimited universe, while limitation exists only in the mind that believes in it. The story continues with Eliza, whose generous heart led her to serve others tirelessly, while accepting little in return. Her refusal to receive appropriate compensation stemmed from a deep-seated belief in her own unworthiness, yet through a series of seemingly coincidental encounters, she gradually awakened to a profound realization. Her reluctance to receive abundance actually diminished her capacity to give. Each time she denied herself proper compensation, she unknowingly reinforced a universal pattern of limitation that affected not only herself, but those around her. Part 3. Transcending into Wealth Consciousness. Chapter 21. The Abundance Acceleration. In the heart of a fertile valley, there lived a farmer named Philip, who tended his fields with diligence and care. Year after year, he planted the same crops in the same manner, reaping modest harvests that sustained his family but never seemed to grow beyond a certain measure. His methods were sound, his work ethic unquestionable, yet abundance remained just out of reach. One autumn morning, as Philip surveyed his fields with familiar resignation, an elder appeared beside him. Without introduction, the sage pointed to the farmer's perfectly ordered rows and spoke of a different way of planting, one that followed the sacred spiral patterns found in nature itself. "Take the harvest from this field," the elder instructed, "and use it to plant an expanding spiral in the next. Each season's abundance becomes the seed for greater abundance, growing not in lines, but in circles that ever widen." Though skeptical, Philip followed this guidance. As seasons passed, his small farm transformed into the region's most bountiful estate. its spiral-planted fields yielding harvests that exceeded all expectations. And you see, this ancient wisdom reveals a profound truth about the nature of prosperity. When you first align with the frequency of wealth, you plant seeds in fertile soil. But true mastery lies not in maintaining this initial connection, but in amplifying it through sacred principles of acceleration. Most individuals experience financial growth in careful, measured steps, like Philip's original method of planting identical fields. They maintain the same energetic relationship with abundance year after year, receiving steady but limited returns. Yet the universe operates not in lines, but in spirals, offering pathways to exponential rather than linear expansion. Consider Florence, a gifted healer whose practice grew steadily for many years. Her income increased predictably until she discovered the transformative practice of blessing her blessings. Each time abundance flowed into her life, whether a new client, an unexpected gift, or even a found coin, she paused to acknowledge it with deliberate gratitude. More importantly, she immediately circulated a portion of each blessing forward, giving with genuine joy rather than obligation. This simple yet powerful practice initiated a mysterious transformation in Florence's prosperity. Opportunities began arriving with unprecedented frequency. Unexpected windfalls appeared as if by magic. Her practice expanded not through additional effort or marketing, but through an invisible force that seemed to multiply every blessing she acknowledged and shared. Your own journey of abundance can follow this same spiral pattern of expansion. Through conscious application of these acceleration principles, you can transform your financial energy from a steady stream into a powerful torrent. This transformation occurs not through striving or struggle, but through enhanced energetic alignment that naturally magnifies your capacity to manifest prosperity. Chapter 22. The Golden Thread of Divine Timing. In the weaving district of an ancient city, where artisans created textiles sought by merchants from distant lands, lived a weaver named Abigail. Her fabrics possessed a quality that set them apart, a harmonious interplay of colors and patterns that seemed to dance with life itself. While other weavers produced competent work through practiced skill, Abigail's creations held a mystical quality that commanded prices 10 times higher than her competitors. One morning, an apprentice named Rachel sought her out, having traveled many days to learn the secret of Abigail's mastery. She watched as Abigail sat before her loom, hands hovering motionless above the threads. Minutes passed, then hours. Just when Rachel began to grow restless, Abigail's hands moved with sudden certainty, introducing a thread of deep crimson into the weave. "But how did you know?" Rachel asked. "How did you choose that exact moment?" Abigail smiled, her fingers continuing their dance with the threads. "There is a golden thread," she explained, "invisible to ordinary sight that weaves through time itself. It shows me the perfect moment for each action. See how this crimson now catches the morning light? Had I introduced it moments earlier or later, it would have lacked this luminosity. The secret lies not in the weaving, but in learning to perceive this thread of divine timing. Through your life's tapestry runs this same golden thread of perfect timing. The universe operates according to precise rhythms that, when understood, transform struggle into graceful unfolding. Just as Abigail's masterpieces emerge through her attunement to divine timing rather than forceful technique, your prosperity manifests most powerfully when aligned with these natural cycles. The ancients understood that wealth consciousness requires not just right action, but right timing. They recognized that the universe orchestrates complex patterns of events that appear as meaningful coincidence to those who have eyes to see. This wisdom has been preserved through generations of prosperity masters who learned to sense the subtle pulses of opportune moments. When you force financial actions against the natural flow, you create resistance that manifests as setbacks and delays. Yet when you develop sensitivity to divine timing, opportunities unfold with remarkable ease. The universe already holds the perfect pattern for your prosperity. Your task is to attune yourself to its rhythm rather than impose your own. Chapter 23, The Sanctuary of Abundance. In a distant land where wisdom was valued above gold, there lived a young seeker named Oliver. His heart burned with the desire to understand life's deeper mysteries, leading him to embark on a pilgrimage to two legendary temples, said to hold transformative spiritual teachings. The first temple he encountered rose majestically against the morning sky, its walls adorned with precious gems and intricate carvings. Golden statues lined the entrance, and elaborate tapestries hung from ceiling to floor. Yet as Oliver crossed the threshold, his heart sank. Despite its outward grandeur, the space felt hollow, devoid of the sacred presence he sought. Disappointed but undeterred, Oliver journeyed to the second temple. This humble structure, built of simple stone and weathered wood, appeared unremarkable from the outside. But upon entering, Oliver gasped. Though lacking material riches, the space hummed with tangible divine energy. Every corner radiated a peaceful power that seemed to penetrate his very being. The invisible yet unmistakable difference between these temples carries a truth that masters of abundance have long understood. Your physical surroundings both reflect and influence the unseen energetic forces that shape your experience of life. Just as Oliver discovered that external opulence cannot manufacture true spiritual power, you will learn that your environment plays a crucial role in either amplifying or diminishing your connection to the frequency of wealth. Throughout history, those who mastered the art of prosperity carefully crafted their surroundings to maintain precise, energetic alignment with abundance. They understood that every object, color, and arrangement in your space constantly interacts with your energy field, either supporting or undermining your prosperity consciousness. These ancient wisdom keepers recognize that sacred spaces are not created through mere decoration, but through conscious attention to the invisible forces that govern manifestation. They develop sophisticated systems for arranging their environments to naturally attract and amplify the frequency of wealth. You will discover how specific elements, when properly placed, create powerful, energetic foundations for prosperity. You will learn why certain colors resonate with abundance, while others subtly reinforce limitation. Most importantly, you will master the art of transforming your own spaces into sanctuaries that continuously strengthen your alignment with universal wealth. Chapter 24, The Invisible Council of Prosperity. In an ancient meditation hall among mist-shrouded mountains, Esther sat cross-legged before a weathered manuscript. For months she had struggled to decipher its cryptic symbols and teachings about prosperity, yet understanding remained elusive. Night after night she pored over the text until her eyes grew weary, sensing there were deeper truths just beyond her grasp. One evening, as golden sunlight faded to dusk, Esther closed her eyes in meditation, surrendering her fervent quest for answers. In that moment of release, her awareness expanded beyond the physical realm. She found herself in a vast chamber of light where luminous beings gathered in a circle. Their presence radiated wisdom accumulated across the ages. "We have watched your dedication," spoke one being, whose light shimmered with ethereal gold. "Yet you seek knowledge while holding only half the truth." "What am I missing?" Esther asked. "The purpose behind the seeking," another responded. Prosperity's true power flows not to those who desire it for themselves alone, but to those who would use it as a force for humanity's evolution. When Esther opened her heart to this deeper understanding, the beings stepped forward, offering to guide her journey, not to wealth alone, but to wealth in service of the highest good. This ancient tale illuminates a truth that prosperity masters have understood throughout history. Invisible guides and guardians of abundance consciousness stand ready to assist those who approach wealth as a means of expanding consciousness rather than merely accumulating possessions. These beings represent the accumulated wisdom of all who have walked the path of purposeful prosperity before you. Their guidance manifests in subtle ways, through intuitive nudges, synchronistic encounters, and moments of unexpected clarity. Yet they wait for a crucial shift in consciousness before offering their full support. This shift occurs when you recognize that true wealth serves a purpose far greater than personal comfort or status. The practices of prosperity take on new power when aligned with higher purpose. What once seemed like mere techniques become sacred technologies for channeling abundance toward the evolution of consciousness. The invisible counsel responds not to desperate pleading or clever manipulation, but to sincere commitment to serve the greater good through your prosperity. As you embrace this elevated perspective, you'll discover that the ancient methods handed down through generations transform from simple formulas into divine instruments of creation. The universe itself conspires to support those who recognize wealth as a vehicle for expanding awareness and uplifting others. When your heart truly aligns with this noble intention, the invisible realms open pathways that were previously hidden from view, guiding you toward opportunities that serve both your growth and the collective good. Chapter 25. Beyond the Illusion of Time. In the bustling markets of an ancient city, Nathaniel paced anxiously between merchant stalls, his mind consumed with worries about future wealth. Each coin he earned immediately transformed into anxiety about earning the next, leaving him perpetually stressed despite his growing fortune. His reputation for shrewd trading had earned him success, yet peace eluded him completely. One evening, as he counted his daily earnings, a peculiar figure appeared in his doorway, an alchemist whose eyes held the depth of centuries. Without speaking, the alchemist placed 3 crystal vessels on Nathaniel's counting table. The first contained dark soil, the second clear water, and the third, mysteriously, seemed to hold pure light. The past, the alchemist said, pointing to the soil. The present, indicating the water. The future, gesturing to the light. Then in one fluid motion he poured all 3 vessels together into a single bowl. Instead of mixing into mud as Nathaniel expected, the substances transformed into a swirling golden liquid that seemed to exist in all dimensions at once. Your prosperity exists not in any single moment, the alchemist explained, but in the eternal now where all moments merge. Here, in this sacred point of presence, true manifestation occurs. This timeless tale illuminates a profound truth about the nature of financial manifestation. It occurs not in the linear progression of time as your mind conceives it, but in the eternal present moment where all possibilities exist simultaneously. When you fixate on future outcomes or past failures, you actually separate yourself from your manifestation power, which resides only in the now. The greatest masters of prosperity throughout history understood this mystery. They knew that projecting abundance into some future state creates a perpetual gap between you and its realization. True financial mastery requires learning to access the dimension of presence where manifestation power reaches its peak. Your mind may resist this teaching, insisting that proper planning requires future focus. Yet there exists a subtle but crucial difference between practical preparation and the habit of postponing your prosperity consciousness to some future achievement. The former can occur while maintaining presence, while the latter creates an energetic pattern of perpetual waiting that blocks manifestation. Chapter 26: The Prosperous Self. William stood before the grand gates of the Prosperity Academy, his credentials and accomplishments clutched tightly in his hands. For years he had dreamed of studying within these hallowed walls where masters of abundance shared their wisdom. Yet, despite his impressive qualifications, the gates remained firmly closed. Day after day he returned, presenting different achievements, displaying his knowledge of wealth principles, demonstrating his dedication through elaborate rituals. Still, he remained outside looking in. One morning, as William prepared another attempt to gain entry, an elderly teacher approached. The teacher's simple robes contrasted sharply with the academy's ornate facade, yet something in his presence commanded attention. "You seek to enter by showing what you can do," the teacher observed quietly. "But these gates open only for who you become." The teacher guided William to a nearby reflecting pool. "Look deeply," he instructed. "Do you see yourself as one who must prove worthiness to enter, or as one who naturally belongs within?" In that moment, William understood. His endless striving revealed a core identity of someone seeking prosperity rather than someone who embodied it. The gates had never been locked. His own self-image had kept him outside. Under the teacher's guidance, William began the inner work of transformation. Rather than focusing on doing more, he learned to shift his fundamental sense of self. Gradually, his identity evolved from seeker to embodiment of prosperity consciousness. One morning, William approached the academy again. This time, he carried no credentials. He had become someone different, not through outer achievement, but through inner transformation. As he walked toward the entrance, the gates swung open silently. He entered not as one seeking admission, but as one returning home. This ancient tale, passed down through generations of seekers and sages, illuminates a profound truth about the nature of prosperity, one that has guided countless souls toward abundance since time immemorial. Like a beacon of wisdom piercing through the mists of time, it reveals the eternal principles that govern the flow of universal abundance. Chapter 27: The Radiance of Generosity. In the heart of an ancient forest, where wisdom whispers through ageless trees, there lived Margaret, guardian of a mystical spring. Those who journeyed to these waters discovered a peculiar truth. When Margaret shared the spring's crystal-clear bounty freely with travelers, its waters flowed with ever-increasing abundance. Yet when visitors attempted to claim or hoard the waters for themselves, the spring would mysteriously diminish, sometimes disappearing entirely. Through the core teachings of this ancient wisdom, you now discover the profound truth that has guided prosperity masters through the ages. True wealth naturally overflows to others through your very presence. This principle operates not through conscious effort or moral imperative, but as the natural expression of one who understands that abundance is unlimited in its essence. When you align with this frequency of prosperity consciousness, generosity flows not from obligation, but from an inner wellspring of unlimited supply. Like Margaret's magical waters, your abundance multiplies precisely when shared freely, creating an expansive energy field that elevates all who enter your sphere, while simultaneously accelerating your own manifestations. Consider now the tale of Benjamin, whose vast fortune brought him no joy despite his dutiful charitable giving. Each donation felt like a sacrifice, a diminishment of his wealth, until a chance encounter transformed his understanding. Walking through the poorest quarter of his city, he met a young child who offered to share her only piece of bread with a stray dog, her face radiating pure joy in the giving. This simple act awakened Benjamin to the truth. True generosity springs not from duty, but from the natural overflow of an abundant heart. As he embraced this wisdom, his giving transformed from obligation to celebration. Mysteriously, the more freely he gave from this new consciousness, the more prosperity flowed into his life through unexpected channels. Your own relationship with giving may arise from similar concepts of sacrifice or duty rather than the natural overflow of abundance. Yet as you embrace the frequency of true prosperity consciousness, you discover that generosity becomes not an act of will but a natural expression of your alignment with unlimited supply. Now, through the sacred practice of establishing your generosity practice, you begin your own journey into this profound truth. Create a dedicated prosperity overflow fund, starting with an amount that stretches you slightly beyond comfort while remaining sustainable. Each morning, enter into meditation with the pure intention of being guided to opportunities for anonymous or unexpected giving. Follow the intuitive promptings that arise even when they seem unconventional. Record each experience in your prosperity journal, paying special attention to how these acts of generosity affect your consciousness and noting the mysterious ways abundance flows back to you through unexpected pathways. Chapter 28, The Infinite Expressions of Wealth. In the heart of a bustling marketplace, James moved swiftly between stalls, his eyes scanning constantly for glints of gold. Each coin he acquired brought momentary satisfaction, yet left him hungering for more. Day after day, year after year, his singular pursuit of currency consumed him until a chance encounter changed everything. A sage, noting James's frantic energy, invited him to visit a hidden garden. As they passed through ancient gates, James gasped at the sight before him. Trees, unlike any he had ever seen, filled the space. Their fruits were pure gold, yet their blossoms radiated pure joy, their leaves emanated vibrant health, and their roots pulsed with divine purpose. The frequency of wealth flows through countless channels beyond mere money. This truth, known to prosperity masters throughout the ages, reveals that abundance manifests in infinite forms, in opportunities that arise at perfect moments, in connections that open unexpected doors, in the harmony of well-being, and in the joy that saturates a life lived in alignment with purpose. When you limit your prosperity awareness to financial measurements alone, you create energetic constriction that paradoxically limits even your monetary manifestations. The ancient ones understood that true wealth encompasses the totality of life experience, not just what can be counted, but what can be felt, shared, and celebrated. Consider now the tale of Sophia, whose relentless focus on financial goals finally bore fruit. Yet standing in her perfectly appointed home, surrounded by all she had manifested, an inexplicable emptiness echoed through her achievement. That night, a dream vision transported her through scenes of her life, moments of laughter with loved ones, sunrises that painted the sky with glory, the satisfaction of work that touched others' lives, the miracle of health flowing through her body. Upon waking, Sophia realized she had been walking past treasures daily without recognizing them. As she began acknowledging the abundance already present in every dimension of her life, a profound shift occurred. Her gratitude for these multiple expressions of wealth activated a frequency that magnetized even greater prosperity across all aspects of her existence. Just as Sophia discovered, your own prosperity consciousness expands dramatically when you recognize the many forms of abundance already flowing through your life. This recognition creates an energetic field that paradoxically enhances your financial manifestations while enriching your entire life experience. Through the sacred practice of creating your wealth dimension inventory, you begin a transformative journey that awakens your consciousness to the countless blessings already flowing through your existence. This ancient exercise, passed down through generations of wisdom seekers, opens your eyes to the multitude of riches surrounding you, not merely in material form, but across every dimension of life. As you document these treasures, both seen and unseen, you activate powerful frequencies of abundance that have laid dormant within your being. Chapter 29. The Sacred Stewardship. In the grand halls of an ancient estate, Alexander paced restlessly, the weight of his newly inherited fortune pressing heavily upon his shoulders. Though surrounded by opulence, he felt not joy, but an inexplicable burden, as though the very wealth that should have freed him had become golden chains. One evening, as he sat in his study examining ledgers, a presence filled the room. An elder, whose eyes held the wisdom of ages, appeared before him. "You seem troubled by your abundance," the elder observed, his voice carrying the resonance of truth. "Perhaps because you misunderstand its nature. Through the veils of material existence, this truth now emerges. Wealth in its purest form exists not as personal possession, but as cosmic energy entrusted to your stewardship. When you release the illusion of ownership, you step into alignment with the true purpose of prosperity, the elevation of all beings toward higher consciousness. Throughout the ages, those who have mastered the frequency of abundance understood this fundamental principle. The universe naturally channels greater resources to those who recognize themselves not as owners but as conscious stewards of divine energy. This understanding transforms your relationship with wealth from one of anxious grasping to purposeful direction. In the quiet valleys of a distant land, Harriet struggled to build her fortune. Despite following every principle of manifestation, her endeavors repeatedly fell short. One dawn, in deep meditation, she received a vision that illuminated the cause. Her focus on accumulation had created resistance to the natural flow of prosperity. The truth revealed itself. Wealth flows most freely when consciously directed toward purposes that serve the awakening of all. Through this lens, you begin to see that your financial resources are not truly yours, but rather cosmic energy flowing through you toward its highest expression. This perspective does not diminish your abundance, rather it magnifies it by aligning you with the universe's natural tendency to entrust greater resources to those who demonstrate conscious stewardship. In this moment of profound understanding, you are ready to embrace a sacred practice that will deepen your connection to universal abundance. Through conscious application of these eternal principles, you will learn to become a pure channel for prosperity, allowing divine energy to flow through you with ever-increasing power and purpose. The following exercise will help you align your being with the cosmic laws of giving and receiving, transforming your relationship with wealth at its very foundation. Let us now explore an ancient practice that has guided countless seekers before you on the path to conscious prosperity. Through this ritual of mindful intention, you will begin to experience wealth not as something to grasp, but as a force to direct with wisdom and grace. Chapter 30. The Eternal Prosperity Consciousness. In a hidden valley where ancient wisdom whispers through stone, Victoria discovered a peculiar artifact, a weathered tablet covered in mysterious inscriptions. At first glance, the markings appeared indecipherable, mere scratches on stone, yet as she returned day after day, something extraordinary began to unfold. The inscriptions seemed to shift and change, revealing different messages depending on her state of consciousness. In moments of fear or lack, The stone displayed warnings and limitations, but when she approached with an open heart and elevated awareness, entirely new teachings emerged, profound truths about the eternal nature of abundance. Through this sacred revelation, you now encounter the deepest mystery of prosperity. Wealth exists not as external circumstance, but as an eternal state of being, available to all who recognize their divine nature. This truth transcends the temporal nature of material fortune, revealing a consciousness of abundance that flows through generations. In your journey toward mastery of the money frequency, you have learned many practices and principles. Yet now you stand at the threshold of the highest teaching, that true prosperity is not something you achieve, but rather your natural state of being when aligned with your eternal nature. In a distant land, Jonathan had mastered every external aspect of wealth creation. His investments flourished, his ventures succeeded, yet something felt incomplete. Through deep contemplation, he recognized that his focus on accumulating assets, while valuable, addressed only the surface of prosperity's true power. One moonlit night in profound meditation, Jonathan experienced a spontaneous awakening to his eternal nature beyond time and form. In that expanded state of consciousness, he understood that true wealth transcends individual lifetimes. He saw how prosperity consciousness, once fully embodied, naturally flows forward through time, touching and transforming all who encounter its frequency. This truth reveals itself to you now. Your journey with wealth ultimately leads beyond the realm of doing and having. As you align with your eternal nature, you become a living transmission of prosperity consciousness, creating a legacy that enriches not only your direct descendants, but all whose lives they touch. Through this elevated understanding, you transcend the temporal nature of material wealth, becoming instead a beacon of abundance that radiates through generations. Like a stone cast into still waters, your expanded consciousness creates ripples of prosperity that extend far beyond your immediate sphere, touching countless souls across the vast expanse of time. In this way, true wealth becomes not merely what you possess, but what you emanate, an eternal force of creation flowing through you into the infinite tapestry of existence. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. As you complete this sacred journey through the ancient wisdom of financial frequency, recognize that you now stand at the threshold of a transformed relationship with abundance. You have been initiated into secrets that most will never discover, not because this wisdom is intentionally hidden, but because few are willing to undertake the inner transformation required to embody prosperity consciousness. The knowledge you now possess is not merely information, but a living transmission of energy that has been passed through generations of masters who understood the true nature of wealth. Remember that this ending is merely a beginning. Your first steps into a life where prosperity flows not from external manipulation, but from internal resonance with the abundant nature of the universe itself. The frequency of money now recognizes your energetic signature and responds to your consciousness, rather than merely your actions. As you move forward, maintain your daily attunement practices, while continuously expanding your awareness of how this prosperity consciousness expresses through every dimension of your being. Your journey has not been toward wealth alone, but toward becoming a living embodiment of abundance, a beacon whose presence naturally elevates the prosperity of all you encounter. Carry this wisdom not as a possession to be guarded, but as a light to be shared, remembering always that true wealth multiplies when circulated with consciousness and compassion. The universe has entrusted you with this ancient knowledge. Now allow it to flow through you as naturally as breath itself, for you have become not merely a practitioner of prosperity principles, but prosperity itself in human form. If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.